I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that this is the best overall EV package for under $45,000 on the Chinese market, or more appropriately, under 44,000 euros, because this is supposedly going to Europe. I'm Will, that's the Zeekr 001, and this is China Driven.
Perfect. Perfect.
Now, Zeekr is one of the many brands that Geely Automotive have, including Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, London Electric Cab Company, Proton, Geometry, the list goes on and on. Geely Automotive is definitely a powerhouse in China. Now, there are three price points for the Zeekr 001. The Zeekr 001 WE edition comes in at 299,000 RMB. The Me edition comes in at 349,000 RMB, and the top of the range U model comes in at 389,000 RMB. But today we have the dual motor base model, clocking in at under $45,000 starting price. Now, the secret sauce for me in the Zeekr 001 is definitely those base models coming in at under $45,000. You see, most EV companies have a standard range, then a long range version, and then kind of a top level performance version, but not Zeekr. At the bottom end, you can choose from a single model long range version, or this, the base dual motor with blistering 0 to 100 km/h acceleration time. It's really kind of crazy that you can choose between breathtaking performance or extra long range for the same price. Now, the single motor rear wheel drive long range version has 272 horsepower and 283 foot-pound of torque. Now, obviously, performance isn't a priority for that model, but it will still go from 0 to 100 km/h in under 7 seconds, 6.9 seconds to be precise. But here's the exciting bit. If your Zeekr 001 has a two-tone badge up front, then that means you will obliterate 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds with the dual motors. They have 544 horsepower and 566 foot-pounds of torque, and it's split evenly 50-50 front and rear. Now, most quick EVs are all-wheel drive, but some, like the ET7, will pull you lightning quick to 100 km/h, while most of them will push you. This pushes and pulls you, and it just makes it so much more exhilarating. Now, all models will cruise on to 200 km/h or 124 miles an hour, to be expected of EVs. Now, the all-important EV stats, battery, range, and charge times. Now, all models except this dual motor base come with a 100 kilowatt-hour CATL NCM 523 pack, and it has an energy density of 176.6 watt-hours per kilo. Now, this base dual motor does with a 68 kilowatt-hour pack from Vividi, and it has a energy density less of 170.2 watt-hours per kilo. But then again, something has to give in order to get that blistering performance at the price point that it is. The base all-wheel drive model has a claim range of 333 miles. The base single motor claims 455 miles. The middle model claims a range of 383 miles, and thanks to the top model's ability to disengage the front motor when cruising, it claims a higher 404 miles. All models can be charged in 35 to 40 minutes with a fast charger. However, if you have access to an 800 volt charger, you can take advantage of the new SEA 800 volt platform the Zeekr rides on to gain a claimed 120 kilometers or 75 miles in 5 minutes. Now, all of these ranges are on the hopelessly optimistic CTLC standard, so do bear that in mind. Okay, so suspension in the Zeekr 001. Up front, it is double wishbone, and in the rear, it is a multi-link independent setup. Now, the top models of the Zeekr 001 do come standard with air suspension and CDC, and you can actually option it on these base models. However, it is a pricey option at around $4,000, and honestly, this rides superbly, so it isn't an option that personally I'd be rushing out to get. For wheels, there is a whole range. There are these base 19-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels with a 255/55 tyre, a couple of 21-inch rims including an aero design and a 255/45 tyre. At the top are these 22-inch petal design with a body colour on a section in a 265/40 tyre. The Zeekr 001 is 4,970mm overall. That's exactly the same as a third-gen Land Rover Discovery. But the Zeekr 001's wheelbase is a massive 82mm longer than the Discovery. You've got to love EV packaging. Now, this is a wide car. It's 1mm less than 2 meters, and it's about 62mm taller than a BMW 5 Series. And this is a bit of a porker. The single motor weighs in at 2,225 kilograms, and the top model weighs in at 2,350 kilos. Now, a Discovery weighs in at a mere 2,193 kilos. So this really is a bit of a heavyweight. Want an EV comparison? Well, this is 10mm shorter overall than a Tesla Model S, but its wheelbase is 45mm longer. Now, it's 120mm taller than a Model S, being a kind of hatchback kind of thing, so it's got plenty of headroom inside, but it's still a heavy car even in EV terms. The lightest Zeekr is 5 kilos heavier than the heaviest Model S, and the top model Zeekr, well, that's 100 kilos heavier than the Model S. Porker. Now, the Zeekr 001, of course, is a smart EV. It doesn't have LiDAR, it uses only cameras, but it does come standard with ACC and lane keep assist, and it will combine those functions for a LCC function where it will follow traffic and keep itself in lane. Now, it doesn't currently have an NOA available. It is coming, and it's an optional extra on all models. And there are 2 price points, a basic ZAD and an advanced ZAD, ZAD being Zeekr Autonomous Driving. If you're familiar with the brand Lynk & Co, this front end will be very recognizable to you. If not, yes, I agree with you, this is not a traditionally beautiful styled car. Somebody actually described this to me as looking like a robotic frog with the kind of humps in the bonnet and these massive embossed daylight running lights right up here on the top. Now, down here is where you'll find the automatic LED matrix headlights, and they are super bright. In the middle is this gloss black piece of trim with a camera for the 360-degree camera system. Now, this obviously is the dual motor, so it's got the 2-tone badge up here letting you know that this will rock it from 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. Down here is a grille and a body colour splitter, and right here is actually a vent that allows air to rush over the brake calipers. Now, to be honest with you, when I first kind of saw this, and even the other day when I first picked it up, I was not taken by the styling. However, after having it a few days, I've gotten used to it, and it's grown on me. I wouldn't say, like I said before, that it is beautiful. But then again, people like the Barbican in London, and that thing's hideous. So maybe, sometimes, it's all right to be an ugly duckling. I really like the side profile of this car. Now, Zeekr calls it a shooting brake, but between us, we can call it what it really is. It's a chunky hatchback, but I like hatchbacks, so I'm really into this. Now, the daylight running lights you can see from the side profile because they're kind of like 3D embossed, so high up on the bonnet towards the edge. As you go down the side, it's got a really high belt line. It's trying to make that roof line a little bit lower looking because it's quite a tall vehicle. You've got pop-out handles and you've got several cameras, obviously for the 360-degree camera system and the ADAS functionality. In the middle here, down at the bottom of the doors, you've got some creases and a piece of black trim that goes all the way across. Now, when you get to the back here, there is a piece of black gloss trim that kind of goes from this C-pillar window into the rooftop spoiler at the back, and also juts down the side here as well. And you've also got those tail lights just wrapping around the corner. Overall, I think it's a really kind of sporty, hatchback, joyous side profile. Like I said, I'm British, I'm a fan of hatchbacks, I'm a fan of this. Okay, so coming to the back here, right at the top, the antenna also doubles as a rearward facing camera for the ADAS system. Then you've got this roof mounted spoiler with an integrated third brake light, this nice sloping hatch with a subtle but sporty little spoiler lip. Now, the automatic LED tail lights wrap around the rear corner here with some Zeekr logo in chrome in the light cluster here on the side, and then they go into this very cool kind of fin design, and the Zeekr lettering in the middle will light up at night. Now, overall, I think that the rear is really sporty. There's even a little kind of essence of a diffuser down here. It's like the front. It's very kind of deliberately styled, and I guess some will like it and others won't. But do remember that Geely own not only Zeekr, but also Polestar. And I said myself that I think the Polestar 2 is very divisive in its styling. But I still think that this looks good. What about you? Welcome to the interior of the Zeekr 001, and what a nice place to be. Now, when I said this was the best overall EV package for under $45,000, the interior plays a massive part of that, because after all, this is where you spend all of your time whilst you're driving. And it is really nice in here. Now, all of the white stuff you can see is Napa leather, and up here on the sides and the headlining, that's all Alcantara. And there's also kind of solid metal here on the dash, as well as the door handles over here and the speaker grills. It's a really, really good interior in terms of material quality. Now, obviously, if you go further down, there are some hard, scratchy plastics, but everything that you normally touch and everything you see is really, really nice. Now, up here on the dash, that is hard plastic, but it's nicely designed and it looks really good. It's not fingerprinty either, because it's kind of a matte finish. Now, I know what some of you will be saying. It's easy to throw Napa leather and Alcantara into an interior, but you know, this is a Chinese car. Like, how's the build quality? This is central console. It's pretty damn well screwed together. Like, this is not a new car. It's done about 15,000 miles, and there's not a single squeak, rattle, or any sound in this interior. It is properly put together. It is properly screwed together. I've been super impressed by not only the material quality, but the build quality as well. For this price point, this is easily the best interior I've sat in. Now, right in front of you, sat in the driver's seat, is the heads-up display. It's bright, it's clear, it's got all the information you need. It's got your sat-nav directions, your speedo, your ADAS functionalities up there as well. And you control it all using these touchpads on the multifunction steering wheel. Now, there's nothing to show you what you're doing on those touchpads. That's all displayed on the heads-up display, because they change what they're able to do depending on what you're doing. So if I activate them now, they show me I can move the volume up and down, and I can skip my tracks. But if I go into the car functions here, I can now, it's showing me that I can move my electronically adjustable steering wheel. So that's really, really a nice feature. You can control your different ADAS functionality, as well as different parts of the car using those touchpads. Below that is an 8.8-inch instrument panel. It's kind of narrow and long, but it's got all the information you need on it. Left-hand side is all your consumption. Then there's kind of your range left. The middle is a speedo at the top and your ADAS visualization. On the side of it, there's two kind of little wings, and they show you your more traditional car warning symbols. Things like, you know, the park brake is on now, that's showing up. Over here is a 15.4-inch central touchscreen. Does all the usual stuff that a touchscreen does. It's also got 5G Wi-Fi hotspot in here. Now, I will say that there were a lot of complaints about the original Zeekr 001 that this touchscreen was super laggy. Now, they have updated this to an 8155 CPU, and I've not had any problems with it. I've also heard that Zeekr are offering customers a free upgrade to that CPU to fix those laggy issues. If so, that's bang on. That's exactly what they should be doing. Now, down the center console, you kind of wraps around. You've got this passenger seat grab handle, which you will need with the acceleration in this thing. But what it does, it kind of cocoons the driver in and makes everything feel more driver focused. Now, up here, you've got some touch sensitive buttons, things like window demisters, hazard lights, access to the inbuilt dash camera, and this button here to open the glove box. It doesn't close it though. Personally, I'd rather not have that button and have a mode button instead, because in order to switch mode from kind of eco to sport to comfort, you have to delve into the touchscreen in order to change that. Another button that I really wish they had as a physical button would be a button to pull the wing mirrors in. This is a really wide car, and you will be reaching to pull those wing mirrors in more than you might realize. Now, you can set up a quick function here on the home screen, but still, I'd rather just a button over here on the switch gauge. Now, underneath those touch sensitive buttons is the phone induction charger. There's only space for one phone, but it does charge my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and some cars have real problem charging some of the larger phones. Now, behind that, you've got a very low profile gear selector. It's topped in Napa leather with some metal knurling on the side, really nice park button behind it. Next to that, you have a physical volume knob, again knurled metal, and you can press it to pause media. Behind that, 2 cup holders, one larger than the other. They do have little insert things to grab kind of skinny cans, and some nice knurling on the top of them. Again, really nice attention to detail. Back here is a button for the split opening central storage, and underneath there is space to put a handbag or something, and the bottom of it is rubberized so things won't slide around. Yeah, I'm really impressed, really impressed. As standard, it comes with dual zone AC with a PM 2.5 filter. The top model gets a 3rd zone in the back and in-car fragrance system. Both are optional extras in here. There's also a driver monitoring system in here, and supposedly it will be able to do facial recognition. I can't log in, so I can't check. It's not my car, but supposedly it will remember your preferences, such as seat preferences, light preferences, and AC preferences, and it will basically move the car into how you like it when you get in. There's an 8-speaker sound system in here as standard, but you can upgrade to the 12-speaker Yamaha system, which is standard on the mid and top model. I'm a big fan of this interior. Material quality is great, build quality fantastic, and it feels really premium in here. I honestly think it's one of the best interiors I've sat in, definitely at this price point. Oh, also easy exit as well. It will move the seat back for you. So these front seats have this kind of integrated headrest. They're all Napa leather. All the seats in here are. They're in this kind of two-tone white and blue, the same as the interior. They're very supportive, and although they're not the softest seats I've sat in, they are definitely comfortable. Now, as standard, these come as 8-way electronically adjustable driver's seat with memory function and 6 ways electronically adjustable passenger seat. They also come standard with heat. Now, on the top model, they have ventilation, massage, and they have memory function for the passenger seat. Now, you can upgrade these seats, and this model actually has this upgrade for 6,000 yuan, and you get the ventilation and the massage as well. Welcome to the back of the Zeekr 001. For those of you who have watched my other videos, you'll know I'm one of the taller people on this planet. At 5'7" or 170 centimeters, I'm sat behind myself, but I've got a monstrous amount of leg room. So leg room is not going to be a problem in this car. What might be a problem is headroom. I've got just about a fist of headroom. So although leg room might not run out if you're kind of over 6 foot, headroom might run out. But at least when it does, you'll be able to feel this lovely Alcantara headliner. The material qualities back here are, again, great. Napa leather seats, metal touch points, metal speaker grills, the same kind of level of materials in the front. In terms of what's back here, in this base model, you've got an air outlet here on the door pillar. You've got a couple of air outlets here as well in the center. Now, on the top model, there is a rear entertainment touch panel. You can option it as an extra if you want, and that will control also the 3rd zone AC back here. There are 2 USB points. Now, one of them is a USB-C and the other one is a normal USB, so make sure you bring the right cables. Also back here, if you pull down this armrest, which by the way is really quite wide, it has a pocket, little shallow one, and also somewhere to put your phone, rubberized, and a couple of cup holders. But the real nifty part is it's got reclining seats back here as well. So you can get in quite comfortable position. It might also help you with that headroom if you are taller. Oh, one last thing that I don't think I mentioned. These doors are all frameless. The rear passenger side also has controls on its switch gauge to move the front passenger seat out of the way for even more legroom. Boss move. One of my favourite low-tech features of the Zeekr 001 is the boot floor, which can be put on these two props to raise the floor, reducing the boot lip for easier loading. The boot is substantial at 810 litres with the seats up and a whopping estate rivaling 2,144 litres with the seats down. Okay, so driving the Zeekr 001, what do I think? Well, first of all, save your money. Don't bother with the air suspension on this base model. I haven't driven the air suspension, might be like gold dust, but honestly, this rides and is dampened so nicely that I don't think you need to go and spend $4,000. The Zeekr 001 comes on all models with 4 modes: Eco, Sport, and Comfort, and also in a personalization mode. On all the dual motors, you get additional snow, sand, and off-road or rough road mode as well. Now, in terms of drive modes, I found myself driving a lot in Eco mode because it's not as neutered as other cars. There's no like 50km/h speed limit. You do have to dig deeper into the pedal to get the performance, but I'll show you. Let's do a standing start. 0 to 60km/h. 3, 2, 1. It's there. And this is Eco mode, right? It's not Sport mode. This is just Eco mode. Now, in Sport mode, the first 60 kilometers are the most brutal. Now, it's fast all the way up to 100 and past it, but the first 60 is really, really brutal. Here we go. Oh, that was it. That groan meant 60. I mean, it is a handful as well, and the wheels do scrabble a bit, but my God, it is exhilarating. Now, in Sport mode as well, obviously the steering gets a little bit more weighted. You know, it's electronic. You can't really talk about steering feel, but you know, it is direct and it does do its job nicely. Yeah. Now, braking, the brakes work fine. The top model has more pistons in the front calipers. Yeah, that's from a 50 to 0. So yeah, they work, but you do obviously have to bear in mind when cornering quickly in this, when braking hard in this, there's a lot of mass here. Like, it's a heavy, heavy car, and you do feel that, you know, it is low down because it's an EV, so it does give you some sort of planted feeling, but you do have to take into account that this is a heavy boy. Okay, so now I'm in the LCC mode. All Zeekr 001s come with this as standard. It's basically adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist combined to allow it to kind of follow traffic and keep itself inside the lane, allowing it to go around corners as long as they're not too tight, obviously. Now, it does well on open roads like this and on the highway and elevated roads, but Zeekr are going to implement a more advanced suite of ADAS functions called ZAD, or Zeekr Autonomous Driving, and that is going to come hopefully in an OTA very soon. That is optional extra. There's 2 levels to that, kind of standard and a more advanced, but the LCC is standard on all models. Overall, really enjoyed driving this car, really enjoyed being in this cockpit. Yeah. Best overall EV package for under 300,000 RMB or $45,000 easily.
Perfect. Perfect.